This year's the first year that we've gotten all the way through to a construction contract, and we've actually decided that we were not going to move
Wow.
forward with a client. First time ever that we've done that. And I think that that just comes from time and figuring out who your right client is, and honestly, just getting burned of not having the right client. We're from 20 to 30 sub trades per job.
$35,000 a
We
week.
will be licensed 10 years next year.
You've mastered the trade. Now you need to master the business. Well, welcome to the Build Line. I'm Jerry. This is Heather, and this is episode 2.
Hey, Jerry.
Hey,
All right. We're ready to dive in?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Right? It's going to be great. We are going to be talking about hiring and firing employees, subcontractors, clients, everything in between.
Yeah, it's a rough one. It's business and emotions all in one package.
It is. I think people who are business owners, they think that that's going to be the easy part of business. But I know personally that has been the hardest part of owning a business.
It's hard because I get fired and hired,
Yes.
and I got to fire and hire.
Yeah.
So the emotions for me, and I'm an emotional person. It's tough. It's a tough one.
It's very tough because you have the emotions of your employees who work for you and their family and they're real people, right? And then
Yeah.
you have subs that, at some point you're like, well, forget you,
Hmm.
or in more colorful language, right? I don't want to work with you anymore. And then clients, right? Have you ever had to fire a client?
Well, since I'm a sub, it's rare. We get in arguments with generals, and we tell them to piss off, and that's that. And there's no kind of like we're not good anymore. It's
Yeah,
it's never a good conversation. It's more of an argument.
it is. Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, here, come pick up your check.
I don't want to see you anymore. That's awesome. Well, let's dive into it. Let's talk about hiring employees and what that looks like, and the timing of hiring employees, when you hire, what's that look like?
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, you're a general contractor, so you kind of have a different way of hiring project managers and all these people, and we're pretty simple on our end. How do you approach that?
It's such a hard balance. There's between for us, we have office staff, we have overhead staff, people that are not job costed that sit on my overhead, and then we have, carpenters in the field. And I think that's a hard balance to strike between who's going to sit on overhead, what do you need to run a project manager, do you have an assistant project manager, and then carpentry staff. So for us, it's always, the best advice we're ever given is you're always looking to hire. There might be somebody out there who might be a good fit for you. You're always looking to hire. But when you are hiring, there's a strategic piece of what do I need to fit for my revenue? How many employees do I need to have at X number of jobs, or in this case, in dollar values, right? How much can one project manager run? How much can our office manager take in for phone calls? How much receipts are generated that my controller then needs to enter and keep up with accounting and bookkeeping and all that? And then self performing in the field, and how much self perform work do we have? So we kind of run in a interesting category of we're a business inside of a business.
Hmm.
My field manager Tyler, we always tell him that you're running pretty much your own business inside of TCI,
Right.
because you have to hire and we have to fire within that business, and then there's everybody else who exists out here to support the field and make sure that the projects get built. So
You touched on some with revenue, so you will have, say, $5 million in revenue, and you can kind of plan. Is that how that works accordingly? So is there a number like 5 million equals this, or is it just kind of how we
yeah.
feel about it?
Yeah, so we'll do, beginning of the year, Steve and I try to do strategic planning for the budget for the year. So we'll look at what we have in backlog for projects, for revenue, where we want to go, what's the goal for the company, right? Is this a growth year? Are we going to stay stable, do the same amount of revenue? And then look at what we need for staffing. How big are the jobs? How complex are the jobs? Can one project manager, given the start time, run these two jobs at the same time? Do we need a lead for the project? And from there, you basically develop an org chart based off of, okay, are we going to do 5 million in revenue? Are we going to do 5.5? Is it six? What does that actually look like? And so we'll have a couple different scenarios for us on depending on what we need for staffing.
Yeah, I meet a lot of project managers out there in the field, and I go, "What? how did this guy even get here or what happened? Like, dude, what's up?
What does that
Does
look
he,
like?
how do you even manage to interview? I mean, everybody has their best hat on the interview, so it's like, that you go, you're going to manage $5 million worth of projects. That's a
Yeah,
pretty hefty number, and it's a big responsibility.
yeah.
And I've noticed over the years, you guys go through them to find you've got a good crew now. But I mean, like, how does that happen? That's difficult. A lot of people hold too long.
Yeah, yeah. You've seen the good and the bad and the everybody in between that's, this guy was running this job and now 10 minutes later he's
Yeah,
not here
yeah,
anymore. And so that is so hard. That is a hard balance. And I think for us coming into this, my background, I hired but not for somebody, would be 3 interviews down the line and be like, "Hey, can you get along with this guy? Is he going to be
yeah.
fine in the trailer?" But
So you'll do
this is an
3
initial.
interviews like that. That'll happen.
That's my experience in the past. Internally, now we'll do 2.
Okay.
We'll look and see Steve and I, maybe we'll do a phone screening. We had a business coach at one time that would at least do the initial screen, and then if
Oh,
they would get through them, then it would be with Steve and I, and then it would be maybe with somebody else in the office, Jen or Janae or whomever they might be working with to
yeah,
see if they were a good fit. And for us, it's like we've gone off of experience, we've gone off of recommendation, and everybody in between. And I think where we're at now and what I think has finally been able to strike the right chord has really been culture. And if that person's going to be a good fit for the culture, I can teach you how to be a better project manager. My guys in the field can help teach you be a better carpenter or be a better lead, and we could train you up and we get you resources. But if you're not going to fit in with the team from a personality standpoint, from a work ethic, drive, do what you say you're going to do, it never has been a good fit. It just doesn't
yeah.
end up working well for us.
Yeah, culture is something new to construction, I think. Like you guys are creating this culture that hasn't been around, and
Yeah.
I'd say our age group is kind of doing that.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see these old timers that you try to hire that don't want nothing to do with that. I mean, even though they have the knowledge, trade knowledge, or whatever it is out there, they just don't want anything to do with like being part of something. Even though they say they do, they
Yeah.
they just want to come and collect their check and leave and
Yeah.
and
Or
yell
they've
at
got a
people.
complaint or, that's
Yeah,
not fun or I don't want to do that. And
yeah,
yeah.
that totally
How
sucks.
does culture work within your company?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. It's something I guess I'm trying to create, and I get guys that come from no sort of culture. They're just like they're a nail in the wall. They're a tool. So they've never been treated well or part of
Mhm.
anything. So
Mhm.
you have to break that kind of shield away and tell them they are here long term and they
Yeah.
can be here forever and you're part of a team here.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you don't have to, be a hammer in the tool bag. You're a person. And
Yeah.
so just dealing with that and obviously everybody's different personalities is difficult.
It's so hard. Yeah. I think for us it's always the make or break of, we joke there's always the 90-day probationary when somebody's a new employee and we have a whole onboarding process and getting them up to speed on how we run work and what's the expectation for doing daily logs to communication to how they perform in the field. And within 90 days, we know like if this guy's going to make it or gal is going to make it or not. And you say like we're quick to figure that out quickly,
Yeah,
and we fire fast in that aspect. If it's not good at 90 days and I don't feel like it's going to fit, it's not going to get better. 90 days are it. Like that's your best foot forward,
yeah,
right? It should be right on. You're a rock star. Like I
yeah.
can't wait, right? Like in 90 days in construction world in this industry is like 6 years. So,
Yeah, put them out there and see what they got and see if how they respond to all the pressure for sure.
yeah.
No, yeah, I'm not good at letting go after I hire. I've held on. Oh, we'll work with him. Oh, he's not. I've caught myself making excuses for some of these people that I should have let their ass go.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I admire seeing you guys do that because I'm like, God, like you get so involved in personal things and their families, and you start learning who they are, and then they have a problem. You're like, oh yeah, I've had one of those problems, and
It's
it's
fine.
fine. He's just having a bad day, but it's just I should, shit can him right away. you know.
What has been your best hire, or what would you say has been the trait that you found in your, because we hire for different things, right? We
Yeah,
touched on a little bit, like we hire for, office and for field. For
yeah.
you,
It's all field,
yeah. So how does
So
that look?
You put them out there by themselves and you see what they got, and you let them kind of bounce, because our relationship, yours and mine, is a relationship, and they're a direct
Mhm.
reflection of that.
Yeah.
So when they're out there in the field, I need them to have our relationship at heart.
Mhm.
The quality of the job, all that stuff will turn out, but how they're going to react to your guys and the homeowners or whoever's on site is big
Not
for me.
smoking on site.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we got guys smoking, we got all this stuff going on. Like, it's hard to, it's like you're looking for a unicorn and there's not. So I have to pick all these other guys. And then, I know if I can manage them and grow them or not,
Mhm.
and so it's hard, man. These are trades guys. It's a physically hard job, construction.
Mhm.
So emotions get tied into that.
Yeah.
And then opinions start to be formed,
Mhm.
about how people should be treated, or they go home, oh, it's so hard, and they're telling their wife, and how much money you make? Oh, you should be doing this and this. I mean, geez, there's all these things to fight with
Mhm.
every single day. So, but going back to what you said, I see how they do out there by themselves and ask for feedback from the people I work with. And
Yeah.
if they're embarrassing me or you on site, then they got to go.
Yeah.
The other things I can work with, people have issues, and that's what
Yeah.
it is.
And if it's a good individual and they're doing a good job, right? It's the opportunity cost of, well, I'm going to maybe float this if I don't have the work, but I'm going to keep them because they have a good work ethic or they fit in well or, they're kind of a jack of all trades, right? They can pick up and go do something else if they need to. I mean, for us, that's for me, I would rather try to keep somebody if I know that they're a great fit, and then if it's you're a C player, then C players don't make it on the team if things get slow, right?
Yeah, the C players are the first to go, even if they were, been around a while.
Yeah.
I have guys come in the door and they are superstars and they pass up everybody. And you got to
Mhm.
have this long term employee, you got to have a conversation with him,
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
field, there we go again with opinions. And why does this guy get this pay, or he's now doing this? And it's like, dude, well, he jumped way ahead of you.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
why, right?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Long-term employees are tough. I've got a 12-year-old employee, 10s, 11s, 7s, and people go through problems in life
Mhm.
that you have to deal with as being their employer,
Yeah.
and that's for real.
Yeah, so you're
But
saying you're HR as well.
I'm HR. Yeah. Well, I have one guy that I'm the HR, and then I say, "Hey, you go work with him today and tell me what he says, because the things they say to me
Mhm.
are different from what goes on out there."
Oh, yeah.
And so then he'll go out there, and he's not playing them or nothing, but they just open up. You spend 8 to 40 hours a day in a room with a guy, you're going
Yeah.
to get to learn a little bit about him and how he operates. And so then we'll get feedback that way,
I'm always the guys that don't give the feedback or you get nothing from, like, because 'cause we'll have
That
kind of the same.
irritates me.
That to me is like a red flag. That's one of those, like, you're not willing to share anything with anybody you work with. That's
Yeah.
that's odd. That's
Yeah.
odd to me, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
spend more time
They
with these people than you do your family.
Those guys will show their colors. I've had a couple guys that they kept it real light and cool for a couple months, and then
Yeah.
they'd break down. You'd find out he's just a raging alcoholic, and and then he starts saying little stupid things, underneath his breath. I've had that happen, and I'm just like, okay, now we found out who he is.
Yeah.
They can't hold their personality for too long.
Yeah.
Eventually, it makes it through.
For sure.
But then I have employees also say, "Hey, how did so and so do out there? The new guy." And, they're like, "Oh, he was fine." Like, they won't give up on him. I go, "What'd you think?" And they go, "Put him by himself." They don't
Mhm.
wanna, like, not like they're ratting on him, but I'm like, "Hey, man, like, this guy could screw up a contract I have with Tankersley, and now we lose, several $100,000 a year in revenue. So if he's doing something wrong, I need to know. If he's
Yeah.
not gonna fit in with what we got going on here, I need to know."
Yeah.
So I'm trying to let the guys in the field know, you guys keep the job. I go get it, I kinda massage it, but you're out there 40, 80 hours a week on the Tankersley job. You keep it. You're the
Mhm.
ones that do it for me. So I need you to communicate.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's funny because you segmented into the C players and the people that if they cut it or they don't, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I think I we have this experience all the time. where we'll have somebody that they start off really good, and then the true piece comes off and the true mask comes off,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden it's the phone calls from subs.
Yeah.
"Hey, this guy doesn't fit what you guys do,"
Yeah.
right? You and I have had this
Oh,
conversation.
yeah. I
"Hey,
loved one guy you had, and you guys like, "This guy's the worst." I'm like, "I love
you're like, he's great." And I'm like, "Hey, I don't
He was
know."
yelling at this guy. I was like, "Get him," you
Yeah,
know?
right? And then I'm like,
You guys
"Okay." I was like, "We can't have people yelling at other people on site. This
Oh,
isn't helpful,
yeah.
right?"
Brings me back. I like to see it every now and then. I can't be the only guy yelling at people. There's gotta be somebody
No,
else.
yeah, right. I mean, there's like a certain amount of yelling, right? We want minimal yelling.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
but I mean, yeah. So for us, it's the people aspect of hiring employees, but there's the people aspect of firing employees.
Mm,
And when
mm,
I say
mm,
fire, it's really
mm.
laid off in California, right? That's what my HR attorney says, right? We lay off
Sometimes I
everybody,
lay 'em off.
right? How do we how do we do that
You
appropriately?
guys have a whole thing you were saying, like, "I've never done anything like that." What's that about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think given my background and Steve's background prior and working for bigger companies, I've had to let people go that worked for me when I worked in other companies. And so I think we do it very professionally. Somebody once told us that you are not an official company until you've been sued by a previous employer.
Mhm.
So I could tell you
Jeez.
we got that year too. So we got
Oh,
that out
right
of the
out of the
way.
gate.
Right out of the
Dang.
gate, got sued by a guy who worked for us for 15 days. That was fun.
Jesus.
A whole 15 days. Yeah, he didn't show he left the job to go move his boat and didn't tell
Gotta come out
anybody.
of the water. That's what I'm talking about. You weren't giving them time. It's gotta
Yeah.
move the
Yeah,
boat.
at 11 a.m. from his, girlfriend's house who was kicking him out, and so,
Oops.
yeah, I showed up on site and he wasn't there and didn't tell anybody, had to go move the boat, and then was just doing some other weird stuff and not clocking in, clocking out. He'd worked for us only a few days. It was like, "This is not working. We gotta go."
Clock in, clock out.
I mean, just like take your lunch, take your breaks, all that kind of
Mm.
stuff. Wasn't doing it. Didn't know how to do it on the app. And yeah, it wasn't a good fit. So we laid him off, and then we got one of those nice letters from one of those attorneys you see on billboards.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a eye opener for us because
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, well, screw that guy. He went to go move his boat, and then after talking, paying a lawyer and figuring it out, it was like, okay, actually, you have to do all these other things too if you want to go after that, and do you want to pay me thousands of dollars? It was like,
Oh,
well,
boy.
okay, maybe not. So, yeah, I think firing is a hard word. Laid off is always the default for us. We have a process. It's two people have to be present if we're going to let somebody go.
Wow.
We have somewhat of a quick and, "Hey, sorry, it's not gonna work out. This is the last day. Let's gonna
Clean
get your
out your
stuff."
locker.
Yeah, we got a checklist and they get escorted out, and that's that.
Escorted out.
Yeah, get your box, time to
Wow.
go. We had an employee that, needed a ride home, but he opted not to do that. He took an Uber, so that was fine.
Oh, jeez.
So that was
Nice
fun.
of them. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So
I
that's hard. It's not comfortable. I just Steve and I were talking about this the other day. It never feels easier. Even if it's somebody who's just a jackwagon that you're
Yeah.
like, you deserve not to work here anymore because
Yeah.
you just messed up XYZ, right? It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It's like the
Sucks.
worst. It just
Yeah.
absolutely sucks.
Have you
And
had
yeah.
anybody you had to fire lay off and it hurt you
Yeah.
emotionally? Like you just was
Yes.
like, this is a good person, but they're just not fitting in. And like, how
Yes.
is that?
Oh,
That's
yes. I had to do that with somebody that, I recruited to come over here and work, and it didn't work out, and I felt so bad. It felt so personal, and it
yeah.
felt so like betraying of
Mm.
our friendship that we had ahead of time, and I'm like, man, so now I have a hard and fast rule. I don't hire anybody else I'm friends with.
Were you able to salvage it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
No, it was good afterwards, and it was a mutual thing. But I mean, we've had other individuals that work for us that it's like we went a whole year before we talked again once
Oh,
they worked for us because it
yeah.
was like it just was so
Yeah, I
unfortunate.
see some of yours around town. I don't talk to them either
Yeah,
anymore.
right? Now,
It's
yeah, you're
weird.
like, "Oh, shoot, that's that guy who used to work for TCI. I can't talk to him anymore."
Yeah,
So,
seeing people like that in the wild, you're like, I don't know if we should talk anymore. And he's with his wife. Is this okay?
It's
Usually we do it on a job site.
yeah. Well, then it's like
Like
a
he's got a
it's like a
Hawaiian
breakup.
shirt on. I don't know about that. Now I'm judging him on his shirt.
It's like a breakup. It's like when you know, like, okay, wait, that's his ex. Can I talk to them
Yeah,
still? Like, yeah. It's like, are they
yeah.
cool? Yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's
always
so bizarre.
it's so hard.
Yeah.
What about for you? I mean, is it just like the 2 check roll up and, you're done? What does
Oh
that look
man,
like?
yeah. I've two check rolled up on people. I've just had to yell at them on site, and say, "Get the hell out of here." I've done it all. I mean, dude, there's some wild stuff. We go through a lot. Or we did go through a lot in the beginning. Trying to find people, and as you grow and you get people, and you just need bodies. You
Yeah.
just there's a body, is go put them over there, and then
Mhm.
then it doesn't work out. I mean, the last several years we've been pretty good and haven't had too many weirdos. But yeah, I've had them all, man. I had a guy, his wife cheated on him, and so all of a sudden, like that was a problem at work. And you're like,
Mhm.
okay, what do you do with this? And so you kind of like don't fire him or lay him out. You kind of just coach him, and his brain's not there. She's showing up to my office and crying and stuff, and she wanted to hug me. I go, no.
Absolutely not. You're
Next
like,
thing
that
I
sounds like a harassment suit.
like,
I
I'm
don't need that
sorry,
either.
can you pick me up at the motel? My wife kicked me out. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and this
No.
guy's been working here for 3 years. I mean,
Oh,
I've had it all, the tradesmen are a rough group. I had a guy relapse on the job, and to work with him through that. You can't
we
just,
had
that's the whole
that's
situation.
it's amazing to me actually. We've had this a similar situation of somebody who we suspected there might have been something like that going on, and same thing where no call, no show, no call, no show. And then, it's amazing how the one phone number that you can remember when you get your one phone call in prison is the Home Depot rewards number that happens to be my cell phone that I get a phone call from,
Oh,
you know, your one phone
jeez.
call. You have a collect call from,
Wow.
"Hey, I'm not going to be at the job site on Monday. I'm actually in jail."
That was nice.
Okay,
I mean, see, he's
that was
calling
a nice little
he
Sunday.
gave
Yeah.
he gave
He
you
gave
the
me a
phone
heads
call.
up. I was his one phone call, yeah. So, I mean, it's just like and then come to find out, yep, sure enough, right?
Yeah,
Lapsed, everything, like, "You can't work here anymore," right?
yeah,
"I'm sorry, like, I know you're going through it, but I cannot be on that journey with you, and you cannot do it here." So, yeah,
yeah.
and that's hard. Then they come in and get their last check, and
Ugh,
they're
ugh,
detoxing. It's just I mean, it is
yeah.
brutal, and I didn't realize so much that that was such a prevalent problem in the trades.
You didn't?
Not until not until not until I got to direct hire and fire, right? I didn't when
Oh,
I was electrical project manager,
yeah.
I didn't hire electricians, right? My field superintendent
Right,
did that, right? They
right.
worked in the field, but actually being the person who hires and fires them, right, alongside my field manager, I wasn't involved in that as much. So that was a new one for me.
No, this fella that relapsed on my job, he kept working every day, showed up, went to
Oh,
work.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great employee. He's
Yeah.
still here today. I
Wow.
take care of the guys. If people have problems, we
Yeah.
can work through it. So things happen, and I really love the guys, man. They treat me well. I treat them well, and if problems happen, I want to be there for them and do everything I can to get them right back on track. And they're the lifeline of the business, and I love them.
It is. Yeah.
And but it's hard when you have to do it.
It's very
It
hard.
sucks.
Yeah, because you just I mean, for me, I always feel like I'm like their mom. I'm just like, "Man, I'm coming down on you."
Yeah,
It just feels so
yeah. It
bad.
gets it, it gets bad.
It gets bad, right? And then half the time most of the time, my employees are even older than me, so that's even
Oh,
worse. Now I'm
yeah.
firing people who are like my parents' age. Now it's like, "Okay, great. Now I just
Man,
fired my dad. That's fun."
the old timers are rough. I've had 3 of them that I've had to retire. They getting up into their 60s, and they don't wanna quit. They don't
Yeah.
wanna quit, but they're slowing down, and they're not performing, and it's mentally working on them. Something that they knew they could do 15 years ago in 4 hours now takes them 8. And they're
Mhm.
like they're coming up with all these excuses why it's not happening and this and that,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, "You're not doing anything wrong, you're just aging out,
Yeah.
like, you're slowing down, your eyes
Yes.
don't work, your shoulder hurts, your knee hurts,
Yeah.
everything hurts," and and I just their eyes are no good, and eyes are important in our trade, and
Yeah.
it's really hard to have that conversation, but it's gotta be done,
Yeah.
and I don't know how the right way to do it either because it's so emotional.
No.
It's
And you try to we tried so hard to try to take care of those individuals and see them out. I know you do a great job of that too of, okay, let's find a spot for you, until X when you're gonna
Mhm.
retire or ride off into the
Mhm.
sunset or whatever you want to call it, right? And that's always a hard balance. We've had a couple individuals that work for us that were in their 60s, and it's the same way. You want to see
Yeah.
them out, and you want to see them out in a way that they feel like they didn't get pushed out,
Yeah.
and that's such a hard that's
Yeah.
a hard balance, right? Especially when they're old enough to be our parents.
Yeah, yeah. I've been doing this 40 years. And sometimes I go, you've been doing it 40 years the wrong way, Jack.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't how it works. I didn't make it up. You did that. That looks like shit. You did it, and you've been doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So that conversation starts to happen. But the old timers, like, I tell them, I say, look, man, you need to get something, your budget, your retirement money. So whatever you got, you need to figure out what that number is going to be because you're not going to be making, $1,300 a week anymore.
Mhm. Yeah.
So maybe we need to scale you down to 3 days a week.
Mhm.
And so you can slowly kind of ease into that and you're physically not burnt out because you work these guys 40 hours a week hard. Next week there were shit.
Mhm.
So you kind of have to play that game with them and stuff. And that's what I do. And I'm frank with them, and I hope that if I was in that position, somebody would help me that way. I try to put myself in that, their mind.
Yeah. Of what that would look like and how do
Yeah.
you do that? Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Firing employees, sorry, laying off employees
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you
is
guys have like these jobs that last a year
oh,
long. So your guys form these relationships with these homeowners and stuff. And I watch
yeah.
that and I'm like, wow, sometimes I see these generals, contractors, project managers getting too comfortable with the homeowner. I go, what?
Mhm.
And they're rolling up with a cup of coffee in their hand. They're helping themselves maybe to out of the coffee pot. And I'm like, geez, like
Like, "Do you live
well,
here now?" I
yeah, and I
know.
always think this is such a fine line.
It's such a
You could get in
fine line.
trouble.
Yeah, it's too it's also the sometimes I feel like when we have project managers and let's say the project manager has to change halfway through because
Yeah,
maybe that person doesn't work here anymore or it's like that person it's not a good fit, right? That client just did not jive with that homeowner for a while and it was kind of square peg round hole and
yeah.
maybe I've had that where clients called me, "Hey,
Yeah, they
I just
always
don't
want
think
you
that."
there. What do
Yes,
you say to that?
always.
Like, "Oh, send Heather, I'm not dealing with you, and Heather better get over here."
Oh,
I've
that's
heard him say it right in front of
yes.
me, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, "Oh."
It's so hard because I feel like we try to do a really good job when we have clients in pre-construction and we're kind of understanding their personalities and how they work and how they like to be communicated to and are they organized people? Are they type A people? Are they not type A? And so we really try to look at that. And when we were structured and had two PMs outside of myself, it would kind of be like, okay, who personally would fit well with that client, right? Is it a male? Is the husband taking the lead on this? Okay, well, let's put the male PM next to it, right? Or if it's the wife's taking the lead, okay, let's put our female PM next to it. And we've tried really hard with that for the longest time. And I really tried to look at that as somebody who's like, okay, how is this going to be a good fit? How's it going to be
Yeah,
best option for the client? And what I came to realize after a while, it's like it doesn't matter. They want me either way, and it's annoying
yeah,
because it's like we're a company, right? So not only is it I'm running some work, I got to oversee accounting, I'm HR, I'm doing a little bit of everything within the company. And so it's not always an option of Heather can just go run the
yeah,
work. And so, hey, you know what? Here's your PM. They're going to do a great job. Janae is a great PM. She is good at scheduling. She's a good communicator. She's got you covered, right?
yeah,
And hopefully, whenever you see me, it's just because I'm checking in on stuff. And if you see both Steve and I there, then things are on fire. So,
yeah.
right?
Steve
Like,
and Heather on the same job at the same time,
yeah,
something's
what's going
amiss.
on? Yeah, right? Like there's
Yeah.
probably a problem here. And so we've tried to balance that out and tried to give our employees the ability to step up. And I've been trying so hard and intentionally to out of the way,
Yeah.
right? Give them the autonomy to do it. Give Tyler, who's our field manager, this is your crew. These are your guys. Is
Yeah.
that if that guy's cutting it, then great, right? You have the power to promote him, to, you know,
Wow.
give him some reins to do that, right? If that guy's not cutting it and you're frustrated, tired of him, work ethic's not there, whatever it may be, you're also there to fire them. You're their
Yeah.
boss, right? And so in the last few years, it's really been trying to train up the people that have been here and know our process, know our system, and give them the reins to go do that. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
been such a push that I've had in the last year because I can't be at all the things. I can't
Yeah.
do all the things. And so I give my team credit because I've asked them if they want the responsibility and want that role, and they're like, "Yes, I want to do it," right? And so trying to get them to move in that direction without too much of a, "Let me push you into the deep end. Good luck. No
Yeah.
floaty. Don't drown," right? And getting them to do that. I mean, there was just here a few weeks ago, we had a field employee and we had to have a layoff, and we a job didn't go that we thought was gonna go, and I cut him the check, and, my team took care of it, and that was it, right? And I
Nice.
got to do the nice, like, "Hey,
Nice.
it's been great working with you, right? Sorry things didn't work out," but I didn't have to do it, and that was such a difference. Like, I mean, we're almost 10 years in here, and I've never been able to just hand that off to
Not do it.
somebody. Yeah.
Wow. Well, what do
So,
you do when somebody says, I want it. I want the responsibility. I want to be the PM or I want to do this or that. And then they don't cut it. They don't have what it takes,
ugh.
and they're trying and they're struggling. And that's a tough one.
Yeah, I think we really try, both Steve and I, we really try to tee them up for that success ahead of time and really, really make sure that that's going to be the right fit. Because we've done that. We've given away, I don't want to say like given away the farm, but we've like given too much of that responsibility, and we've seen that implode. And it usually ends up in something catastrophic where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we can't, that's not gonna work, or, you know what, we're gonna have to dial this back in, and then it ends up again with kind of hurt feelings, hurt,
Yeah.
ego, pride, all that kind of stuff.
Sucks.
And then it just ends up not being a good fit. And we've had that where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, you know what, you're not the right fit for that role. Let's do, and that's a really hard conversation too, because now you're going into performances
Yeah.
and how do you recover from that? Hey,
You
you're
suck.
you're not that great. Like, let's
Yeah.
move on. Let's put you in this other spot over here. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. No, I've had I thought what you said, giving Tyler like the power to do that was really
Yeah.
good. And I had to do that with Will. And I had all the guys at the time in the shop. And I
Yeah.
said, he's the boss. He can fire. So you better just listen.
Yeah.
Like, because people weren't respecting me. He'd go up and go, oh, yeah, I'll just call Jerry or whatever.
Mhm.
And so I had everybody in there one morning and said, none of this. You
Yeah.
better stop. This guy, he knows. And
Yeah.
he's running the show.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, there's the door. And he left there feeling okay,
Yeah.
and he felt like, okay, I got this. I'm in charge. And boy, he took off, and I couldn't ask for a better guy.
And that's again, as a business owner, realizing, okay, I need to give some of the reins over, and feeling that that person can handle that,
Yeah,
right? That's a
yeah. It took a
hard
lot of
piece.
years. I mean,
Oh yeah.
the project manager deal and running the jobs and all. It's hard. It takes a lot of years to learn all the stuff, and because
Mhm.
he's now dealing with the emotions of people
Yeah.
and hearing all the stuff that he wasn't used to. He
Yeah.
knows the trade, how to do it inside and out.
Mhm.
Now he's got to learn all this other kind of relationship building and bonding that
And what does that look like? Yeah.
yeah, and how to, leave the job site with your crew there feeling confident with what you said is going to get done
Yeah.
instead of going, shit, I don't
I don't know, are they gonna
know.
respect what I said? Are they
Yeah.
gonna do what I said?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
showing back up the next day and going, what the hell happened here?
Yeah.
So
How do you do
yeah,
that?
accountability, right?
How has it been for you, given that you guys seasonally or maybe, based off of workflow, those kind of things, employees coming in and out. How do you manage that so that employees don't burn bridges or they come back and it's not it's gonna, hey, we're gonna bring you back in the spring, right? When these three jobs hit. How does that work for you? How does that culturally feel for you guys?
So we've got what I think 13 guys, 52 weeks a year. And when I need other guys, I have a list over years you
Hmm.
get, and those are the guys that don't work somewhere 52 weeks a year. They might work for me 3 months a year and this guy 6 months and that guy 9 months, and that's their thing, that's their life.
Hmm.
So when I call them go, "Hey, I got the good run coming up.
Hmm.
I could use a hand if you're not busy for like another 6 weeks."
Yeah.
And that's it. As simple as that. It
Hmm.
doesn't there's no, like, hard feelings or anything like that, and when it's over, and we all part our ways, and next year, he knows if it slows down, he can call Jerry, and they'll when that company, lays him off, he'll call me, and I've probably about 6 guys that do that, and it works out fantastic. Usually, somebody's available if I need them, especially if I give them enough time.
Hmm.
And our drywall jobs don't last forever, so you're on a different projects all the time.
Yeah.
And some of these guys, they love it because they have to drive to the Bay Area for other people and
Yeah.
not for me.
Yeah.
So they're like,
They could
"Ooh,"
be home for a bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
they can be home by 4.
Yeah.
where, they're not
Yeah, them sitting in traffic at
yeah.
7:30 at night, right?
So, over years, you just acquire a Rolodex of
Mhm.
people that you can rely on, and when the getting's real good economy-wise, then that gets tricky.
Mhm.
But for the most part, it's pretty simple, pretty
Works pretty good.
straightforward, yeah.
Yeah. I always try to tell employees too, it's a small industry,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Don't burn a bridge.
Yeah.
Don't
Our bridges
don't
rebuild
do
themselves after about 5 years. So once we get in an argument, if we do,
Yeah.
if 5 years rolls by, come back over. I had a guy, Sergio, I've hired and fired several times. He was my very first employee ever,
Mhm.
and, we've had fallings out several times,
Yeah.
and then, a couple of 3 years goes by, and there's Sergio again, "Well,
Yeah,
Werner,"
okay, we're good.
and then
Yeah.
something happens, and
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
I think I always try to look at it of and maybe it's my own personal prism. Whenever I left somewhere, I wanted to make sure I left it in like a really good state. Like it was like, hey, my employer's really happy. Like, they're happy with how, I left everything and just trying not to burn those bridges and like it
yeah.
leaves like such a good place, right? And so we've had employee that just like didn't show up on their last day and it's like people remember that.
Oh,
People
yeah.
remember that and karma comes around. Karma
Yeah.
comes around and so it's just
Karma's
like
real.
it is, right?
Yeah.
And so just treat people the way you want to be treated and even if it doesn't work out, right? It's like we
Yeah.
don't go around town running our mouth or anything else, you
Yeah.
got to think about it cuz it comes full circle.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of running your mouth, I mean, what happens
Ooh.
when you, as a general contractor, fire a client? How does that
Oh,
work out? I
man.
mean, there's that's such a big thing to talk about, but I mean, how does that roll?
That's
Word of mouth's
so
huge for you guys.
word of mouth is huge, and I think that's how we've been able to grow naturally is just from recommendation, word of mouth. We got started in Folsom, and Folsom was so good to us. We lived there in that community, and that's kind of where we got the stronghold of just recommendation. And it's not we've had clients that will hire us in pre-construction, and maybe we don't move on from pre-construction to actually building their project for 15 different ways, right? They decided not to do the job or, you guys are too expensive. And, we've had that several times, but this year's the first year that we've gotten all the way through to a construction contract. And we've actually decided that we were not going to move
Wow.
forward with a client. First time ever that we've done that. And I think that that just comes from time and figuring out who your right client is and honestly just getting burned of not having the right client and having to just deal with maybe somebody who's difficult, a job that maybe wasn't that great in the first place, but we took it because we needed the work and we chased it or
Yeah.
and those kind of things. And so it just I think it's from touching the stove too many times that it's like you see so many red flags while you're going through design. It's like, man, this is not going to be a good job
Well,
for
how
us.
long is that process from time you talked till pre-construction and you decided to say no?
So we were working with that client in particular, we were working with for about 4.5 months.
4.5 months.
And it just was like kind of red flag after red flag of them, feeling like using words when we're having meetings of like, we don't think you're listening to us and we don't think you guys are good communicators. And, we didn't get the meeting time right, even though it's on a Google Calendar invite and it has the time. And we did a follow up email and we had the address. And so all these little things, just
Yeah.
little things that keep adding up, adding up, adding up. And we get down to the proposal review and it's a 2.5 hour meeting and they don't like that it didn't have page numbers at the bottom of the proposal. They're like, we can't reference which page this is in, because you don't have page numbers at the bottom of your proposal. And it's like, oh my gosh, we haven't even torn into your whole house
Yeah,
remodel. Like,
wait till that
wait
happens.
until that happens, right? What's that punch list going to look like? And having gone through jobs where it is so painful and it's so hard on the client and it's hard on the PM and it's just this struggle. It's like,
Yeah,
this is the honeymoon. Like, we're supposed to be just like in love with each other.
it's
This is
happening.
great. We're going to, build your dream house. We can't wait. Right. And if we're already cringing going into a proposal review meeting, like, I don't want to see you at 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, right? When the drywall guy's there sanding and it's dusty and you're just tired of me. Like,
Yeah,
you are really going to not like me then. You're
yeah.
really not going to like
It's
me.
a long relationship.
It's
You're married for
hard.
a year with these people.
It's so hard, and I think it takes a lot to be in that position because I think as a GC, how many people do you know that, especially right now, like it's kind of tough times out there right now. People are chasing work,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
chasing what they want for price. And so for us, it was a big decision. And it was like, you know what? I would rather the team go do something else or everybody sit at home than have to go and deal with this problem. What is going to be a problem client? This is
Yeah.
going to be a
You don't
problem
wanna
job that
risk your
everyone's going to hate.
risking your reputation over one client is not
Yeah.
worth it. Sacramento's not as huge as everybody thinks, in
Yeah.
construction. Yeah, you don't wanna do that. Wow, that's
It's
wild.
it's so hard. What about for you? What takes it for you to, fire a GC? What's, like, the number 1 burner for, JR Brewer Drywall of, "I will
Yeah.
not work for you as a GC if you blank."
If you blank, I mean, the basic things, you just gotta pay your bills. Like, I've learned to just deal with everybody's stuff, and their different ways of doing business. Because a lot of guys aren't a real business. They're just kind of like a contractor. They have a lifestyle. They're not, so they're not, they don't have builder trend and do all these things and schedules
Mhm,
online. So I'm pretty loosey, it really does take a lot. You'd have to be really disrespectful to the guys and
mhm.
me in some sort of verbal manner.
Yeah,
I can take your not knowing how to schedule, not paying on time, not having, but I can't take the disrespect on the job site. Not having things ready for us when we show up is insane.
yeah,
You've been in the trade 30 years, you've been in business 30 years, whatever the deal is, and you're
mhm.
asking me how to get this job ready for you for drywall?
Yeah. You're the
You've done a
GC.
million of
How do
these.
you not know how to do
What do you
that?
mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so when we show up and there's just crap all over the job site and like you're really not ready, but for a week you've been telling me be there on the 14th, like that
Mm.
starts to rub me a wrong way.
Yeah,
When I got to fix things that you should be fixing and you kind of take it for granted after a while that we'll just do that,
yeah,
then that starts to be a problem.
yeah,
And then we'll eventually have words over that,
yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you how it is, and you're not gonna like it, and it's gonna go back to 2 men with egos on a job, and it's gonna not
And
end
then just go
well.
south from there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple FUs and we're out.
the men are like the ego, and then when we go to a construction site, we're not humans anymore. We're just kind of like this different pod of tool, and things don't have people throw chicken bones on a job site. Would you throw chicken bones in your living
Yeah,
room?
yeah. Why
You
is that
know?
okay, right? Or to leave your trash or your
Yeah.
tacos or
Yeah,
Lord knows what else. Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
you just leave it around. Like we
Yeah.
all change for whatever it is. Men change on a job site and become this whole other type of person, and that's wild. And when I started working with women project managers and women general contractors, I was like, oh my god,
You're
like
like,
this
just
is
kidding.
something else.
Like, wait
People, all
here.
men are like, oh, they're just straighten up their shirt and they can't say this, can't say that, and like all of a sudden they're on their best behavior, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't have to be like it was.
Yeah.
So,
So have
yeah,
your shit together.
have your shit together,
Pay on
man.
time.
Pay, just pay,
Just pay in general. Just write me a check in a
Yeah, if
reasonable
you
amount of
can, under
time.
30 days, I'm realistic with. Obviously, I like it when you guys pay quicker, but
Yeah.
things happen. People aren't, again, these guys aren't good with money. They might be, front charging, back charging, behind on bills, like, whatever. I need them all to survive. And so,
Yeah. But you don't wanna finance a job. That's
no, I try
obviously
not
nobody wants
to,
to, right?
because we're kind of stuck in this weird spot where we kind of always are.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just accepted it as a way now, and I just roll with it. As long as I look at the overall picture and go, everything's okay.
Yeah.
You just kind of keep going and try
Well,
to figure it out from there. Yeah.
well, I think we covered so many things between hiring employees, keeping the A players, right? If they're good, we'll find a spot,
Yeah.
fire them. We fire them quick.
Yeah.
You seem to
I hold on.
you seem to be way more emotionally invested as the
I
man in
am.
this
I,
conversation.
I get up. I see these guys in the morning. I still go to the shop every morning for the most part, unless I really don't want to. Like I always thought, it'd be nice to not go, but then I'm like, I get up and I go out there. I'm up early, so I just go and
Yeah.
we talk and I hear stories and
Yeah.
everything. So I'm like emotionally involved with these guys. Like they're me. They're
Yeah.
part of my soul of my business, and
Yeah.
so like, yeah, I have a hard time sometimes, and I know that I should be able to change it, but
But that's culture. That
yeah,
goes back to culture, right?
yeah,
And that culture fits you're doing what you expect your employees to
Yeah.
do, and they get it back too.
I was an employee once
Yeah.
and I was treated a particular way. The first time
Yes.
I was ever laid off from a company that I really liked, I took it really hard.
Yeah.
And I called my uncle, and he was a contractor for 100 years and been in the trade since the dirt, and he goes, Jerry, you cannot take it personal because
Yeah.
he was an emotional guy too.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, I hear you, I see you. He goes, it's just business, man. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of that in the first couple years when I was in business, he rode in the seat with me every day. He
Mm.
not every day, but like he was retired, so he'd come help me when I needed a hand for a week or so. And he told me a lot of things to not do
Yeah.
and coached me through in the beginning emotionally because I was so young, 20, 25, 26, 20, yeah, 26. So it's like I needed that help.
What does that look like? Yeah. It's funny because I always think about culture. You made me think of that because I think about culture in our company and, shameless plug, we've been voted best places to work in Sacramento for the last 4 years running. And it's not out of just because we get all our employees to vote for this, and this sounds
I
great,
never
right? And
voted.
it's so cool. I know, thanks, it's fine. Um, but it really is though, I try both Steve and myself, I try to come at leadership within our company as all the managers that I had that maybe didn't being an employee and what that looked like, how do we do it better, right? I remember what it's like to be an employee, and
Yeah.
I didn't like when I went through '08. I went through '08 when every Friday, 2 people got laid off
Yeah.
for 6 months, and it was terrible,
Oh
and you're
yeah.
like, every Friday at 2 o'clock, you're expecting your computer to turn off, right? So it's like, if something's gonna happen, and it's like, if that happens, somebody gets "Let's go," everybody gets a phone call from me.
Yeah.
"Hey, this is what happens. They don't work here anymore," right? "This is XYZ," right? As much as I can be able to decipher if it's, something I can talk about, something I can't
Yeah.
talk about, or just like, hey, you know what? It's not going to work out. This is why. Do you have any questions? And I try to do that from a very personal standpoint because
Yeah.
I've been there and
Yeah.
I've all those things that those like you're talking about, like the personal and the real aspect of it. It's like I try to put that back into how I am as a leader and how I show up for my people every day. Right? Same thing.
Yeah. Got to show up. But what happens when you have a guy that you kept, and how did he ruin the culture? Because those guys can affect the culture you're creating.
Oh yeah, it's
Is
bad. It can really, really
have
top
you
your
had a
culture
guy
and be like, oh
that
man.
kind of put a sour to that in the
Yes.
past?
Yeah, and too long, and it finally just came to a head where it's like, this is not the right person, and it's negatively affecting to the point that there are other people that are this person's a C,
Hmm.
and we're holding on to him too long, but my A's are really feeling it,
Yeah.
right? I'm gonna lose my A players
Over the sea.
over the C. Is that
Yeah.
what I want?
Yeah. That
Is that gonna
sucks.
help us? No,
No.
and it's not, and I'm holding on to him not because, if there's the simple answer is like, "Well, they're a C, let him go." But back to that, well,
He's got
he's going through
kids
some
and a thing.
stuff,
Yeah.
and he's been here this long, and he's been from the beginning and all
I've
right?
been
And that's
here this long that that creates an entitlement,
yes.
and that'll start messing things up
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The been here too long. I have that in my company because I have so many guys that have been there a long time.
Yeah.
And so we have. It's nice to bring in a young blood that'll run around on them a little bit and show them, "Ooh, that's how fast you were supposed to do it."
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Keep going.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, keep things spicy.
I agree. So culture, we're gonna keep culture high. We're gonna keep going in this young industry that we're at. Um And I think for us, it's, firing clients. When do you fire a client? Firing a client, I think when you know it's a bad job, you know it's gonna be bad. I think for you, it's, am I not gonna get paid?
Am I not gonna get paid?
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get paid.
And sometimes you get paid a few times and then you don't.
Yeah.
And then
Then you're
the
like,
guy
and now we're
you can
out.
start to see the writings on the wall because you hear other subs talking and things like that. And
Yeah.
I've been fooled before. There's a couple companies in town that present really well, especially on Instagram and other things, and
Gram
and then
fake.
all of a sudden, like you hear from the plumber, "Oh, that did you work on that? That guy didn't pay me for 60 days or something happened."
Y'all getting paid?
So, if I was a general boy, that's the first thing I would make sure, man. But they don't. There's these guys out there that just like I don't know. I don't know where the money goes or how they misappropriate it or whatever. But they got a hard time.
Yeah, I agree. Well, ready for our favorite part? Who's gonna win on the
Oh,
who got blown up the most, during this
I dropped
segment?
I dropped my phone,
Uh-oh.
so
Well, I'll reveal mine first.
okay.
Ooh, I've got 7 text messages.
I've got 2 text message and 7 phone calls.
Whoa, uh-oh. Jerry's gotta go. Something's on fire.
1
And this
email.
was your slow time.
Yeah, this type of hour, I should be
Man.
alright.
Uh-oh. Yep, Jerry's
It's
gotta go put out some
Monday,
fire.
it's Monday. It's
Well,
raining out there, so they'll put it out the rain will put
the
out
rain
the
will put it
fire.
out quick. That's perfect. Well, thank you, Jerry, for this fun conversation about
Yeah, it was good to
hiring and
see you.
firing.
I
You
think
have a
we
good
did
one.
a good job this time in episode 2,
Yeah, going
on to
down.
3.
Love it. It is.
Next week, we got, Dave Hollers coming on. You know Dave.
Dave from Kitchen Mart,
Big
the
deal.
OG.
Big
He's
deal.
great. He's always sharply dressed too, so make sure you might wanna
I know, I
up
was
your
thinking I
game.
could wear a black
Or
collared
schmedium.
shirt.
Yeah, schmedium.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It'll be perfect. So, yeah, tune in there and you can check us out and find more of our episodes on anywhere you find your podcasts. And make sure you're following along on Instagram and social media. Drop
Yeah,
us some comments
we're
on
on it.
there.
Yeah, keep
Hit
in
the
touch.
is my what I'm gonna date myself for my kids, right? But you got to hit the like and subscribe button, right?
No,
Is that what
you
they
have
say?
to smash
You
it.
just smash it.
Yeah.
There you go. Smash the like and subscribe. Man, I've sound old.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.